continuing with our series of fruit of the Spirit. So we've already talked about love, joy, and this week we are talking about peace. So what is peace? Peace is kind of like when we know we don't have to be afraid or anxious or worried because we know that God is in control. And I think this one came at a really good time because the world is a little bit scary right now. And I know for myself, I'm feeling a little bit anxious, a little bit stressed, and a little bit uncertain about what's going to happen. But I know that I have peace because I can trust that God is in control of the situation. So that's kind of our big idea for the week. So just like the past couple weeks, I have a verse for us this week. I have my Bible here. Our verse comes from the book of Philippians, and Philippians is near the back of the Bible. It's in the New Testament. It is Philippians 4, verses 6 to 7. So I'm going to read them to you. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. So what this is saying is, don't be scared about anything. What we can do instead is pray and ask God to just take control of whatever situation we're feeling a little bit anxious about. And that's what peace is giving all the control to God and knowing that He is in control and that we don't need to be worried because everything will work out when God is in control. Now we have a really special guest with us today who is going to be reading our Bible story. Our story is about Jesus calming the storm. And our special guest is Caroline, who teaches many of you in the kindergarten class. So let's welcome Caroline to read our story today.
Well, hello everybody. So nice to see you all. So, Caroline here. I miss you all loads. So I thought I would come on here and take part in your lesson and read your story today. So I hope you enjoy it. The story is taken from this book, which is called the Jesus Storybook Bible. And today's story is called The Captain of the Storm. And this story is taken from Mark 4 and Matthew 8 in the Bible. So here goes. I hope you enjoy it. The sun was going down. The air was warm and still. Let's go across the lake, Jesus said to his friends. Jesus had been helping people all day and now he was tired. So they left the crowds at the shore and set out in a small fishing boat. Jesus climbed into the boat to take a nap. As soon as his head touched the pillow, he fell fast asleep. It was a beautiful evening. A gentle breeze rustled the sails. The friends were chatting happily as they headed out into the middle of the lake. Everything was perfect, just right for a nice quiet sail. They were only out about halfway when, out of nowhere, whirling winds swept across the lake, fierce and strong like a hurricane. A blinding flash of lightning lit up the sky. Thunder roared right overhead. The storm blew the water into towering waves that hurled the little boat up, 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 and then sent it crashing down, down, down. The fishing boat was blown and buffeted and tossed and turned, back and forth, up and down, left and right, and round and round. And in the middle of the storm, Jesus was sleeping. Now, Jesus' friends had been fishermen all their lives, but in all their years fishing on this lake, they had never once seen a storm like this one. No matter how hard they struggled with the ropes and sails, they couldn't control the boat. The storm was too big for them. But the storm wasn't too big for Jesus. "Help!" they screamed. "Wake up, quick, Jesus!" Jesus opened his eyes. "Rescue us, save us," they shrieked. "Don't you care?" Of course Jesus cared, and this was the very reason he had come, to rescue them and to save them. Jesus stood up and spoke to the storm. "Hush," he said. That's all. And the strangest thing happened. The wind and the waves recognized Jesus' voice. They had heard it before, of course. It was the same voice that had made them in the very beginning. They listened to Jesus, and they did what he said. Immediately the wind stopped. The water calmed down. It glistened innocently in the moonlight and lapped quietly against the side of the boat, as if nothing had happened. The little boat bobbed gently up and down. There was a deep stillness and a great quiet all around. Then Jesus turned to his wind-torn friends and said, "Why were you scared? Did you forget who I am? Did you believe your fears instead of me?" Jesus' friends were quiet as the wind and the waves. And into their heart came a different kind of storm. What kind of man is this? They asked themselves anxiously. Even the wind and the waves obey him. They didn't understand. They didn't realize yet that Jesus was the Son of God. Jesus' friends had been so afraid. They had only seen the big waves. They had forgotten that if Jesus was with them, that they had nothing to be afraid of, no matter how small their boat or how big the storm. The end. I hope you all enjoyed that story, and I will see you again next week. Take care. Bye now.
Thank you so much to Caroline for reading that story for us. And I think our biggest takeaway from that story is to remember that when God is with us, we don't need to be afraid. We can just trust in him and have peace that he will be in control of the situation. Just like Jesus was in control of the situation in the boat. The guys in the boat were afraid of the storm, but what they needed to remember was that because Jesus was with them, they did not need to be afraid. And when God is with us, and when we have God in our hearts, we don't need to be afraid. We can trust and have peace that God will protect us and have control over any situation. So I will see you next week in our video. I will be posting a fun craft in our lesson plan that will be going up on Facebook that you just need some popsicle sticks and some construction paper and a straw for. So look at that and you can create your own boats this week. See you next week.